Alright, so check it out. This deck is the most insane combo I've ever seen. You get to play all your cards basically and all their cards until you mill all of their graveyard and they have no cards to draw, and you can do it on turn 4. It's insane. So, just take a look. I stole this from Cobert Go Blue. Shout out CGB. From today, 227. It's focused on one Jace. So the only win condition is this one Jace right here. Basically, his minus X, target player mills 3 times X cards, so he starts at 5. You can do minus 5 and just kill the Jace, but he'll make them mill 15 cards, and that over and over and over. When you can do Breach the Multiverse, each player mills 10 cards. For each player, choose a creature or planeswalker card in that player's graveyard, put those cards onto the battlefield under your control, then each creature you control becomes a Phyrexian, blah blah blah. So the idea is we can breach. They mill 10 cards, we mill 10 cards, and our 10 is eventually going to be this Jace. And so since they're down 10, we're down 10, we can do this over and over. You'll see how. Eventually we just hit the Jace and do minus 15 on them, and they run out of cards in their library and can't draw. And you can pop off on turn 4 because of this card, Reenact the Crime. It's an instant. It does cost 3 blue and a colorless. Exile target non-land card in the graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. So if we can just discard the Breach the Multiverse, which normally costs 7, on turn 4, we are able to reenact the crime and cast that for free, well, for 4 instead of for 7. And it's going to start this chain of events. But that's not even the key card, which is this one, Conspiracy Unraveler. Super expensive, but once again, we're not going to pay that. 5 colorless and 2 blue. It's a creature. Flying, you may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana cost for spells that you cast. So to collect evidence, as you can see on the middle of the screen, it says to collect evidence 10, exile cards with total mana cost 10 or greater from your graveyard, instead of paying the spell's mana costs. So what we're going to do is use little cards that let us draw and discard. This one is a saga, so you cast it and it starts on counter 1. So for counter 1, you're going to draw a discard, counter 2, draw a discard, and then counter 3, it turns into a 2/3 flying, who cares. The idea is that we can draw and discard and set this up so that it's already spent the mana on a previous turn. So we'll play this on turn 2 or turn 3, discard some expensive things with high mana cost so that we can later go to get this and use those expensive mana cards in the graveyard to collect evidence. So we're going to be exiling cards out of the graveyard to pay for anything in our hand. So ideally, this, Breach the Multiverse, right? So we're going to throw this. Basically, we got one defensive spell basically to make sure we don't die. It costs 1. Return target creature to its owner's hand if its mana value is 3 or less. We can scry. You know what scry is. Look at the top. You can put it on the top or the bottom. This is going to let us draw and discard. This is going to let us draw and discard, and then make a treasure token. Treasure tokens add 1 mana of any color, but we have to pay 2 to do that, so it's not as good. This Planeswalker, you already guessed, lets us draw and discard. He costs 3, so we can play this on turn 3, and then on turn 4 when we have 4 mana. We've already paid the casting cost for Kaito, and he'll let us activate his +1, draw a card, then discard, and we can discard the Conspiracy Unraveler, reenact the crime, get the Unraveler back for free, cast the Breach the Multiverse by exiling cards, and mill this guy, Atraxa, right? So this card is basically impossible to cast. We can cast it, hard cast it, without this trick if the game goes long enough, because we do run green, white, blue, and black mana and +3, so that's 7 mana cost, 7/7 flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. When Atraxa Grand Unifier enters the battlefield with the top 10 cards of your library for each card type. So that's like artifact, artifact, battle, creature, enchantment, instant, land, planeswalker, and sorcery. For each type, you may put a card from that type into the reveal cards into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So whenever we start running low, this guy's going to be in the graveyard, and when we breach the multiverse, because he's going to be in one of those 10 cards probably, we can pull back Atraxa for free, and do all this stuff. So we'll basically replenish our hand. There's going to be a bunch of crap in our graveyard that we can then cast by collecting evidence. We exile them. If we throw away one Atraxa, that's already 7, and then some more stuff. So eventually, we can just refill our hand with this, look at 10 cards, pull more cards, cast more breaches, even reenact the breach as it gets thrown into the graveyard. And then to close the game, we're just going to play Jace. One more card that works really well. This artifact costs 3, so we can set this up the turn before we want to discard, which is going to be on turn 4. We cast the artifact, tap, draw a card, then discard a card. If things go super bad and they end up like exiling our graveyard or countering our spell or something like that, this card says pay 4, transform Matzalantli, the Great Door. Matzalantli, the Great Door. Activate only if there are 4 or more permanent types among cards in your graveyard. Says artifact, battle, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker are permanent types. So we're likely going to have 4 cards in there. We can pay 4, transform it, and then you see Fathomless Descent. It turns into the core. Fathomless Descent. Tap, add X mana of any one color where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So if you have like 20 cards in your graveyard, you can just tap for 20 mana and cast these things without the combo pieces. So if something goes wrong on the combo, we can fall back on this, and that's it. Then we just got a ton of multicolor lands. This one's white just so we can cast Atraxa just in case. This one's white so we can cast Atraxa just in case. A bunch of these new lands have this Surveil ability. So Surveil, look at the top card of your library, you may put it into your graveyard, but it comes in tapped. All these untapped lands, they either have to have 2 or fewer, else it comes in tapped, or 2 or more, or Surveil, or 1 damage to you. And then this last card is in like every single deck ever, Mirix. It adds a colorless mana or a mana of any color if this is the turn that you played it. And so let's say everything goes to hell basically, and you're losing and it's a long game. This can just create these 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. So literally every deck has this because if you get 10 poison counters from Toxic, then you just lose the game. So if they take all of your other pieces away, you can just play this. So I'm going to try and play a couple games, maybe move my face so you can see it better, put myself in the middle, and we'll just play into rank. I just hit Mythic, so games are going to be hard. Let's see if we can get the combo off on the first go. So we want to be able to draw and discard, get a bunch of expensive stuff in our graveyard, be holding the crime card that is 3 blue, colorless, so on turn 4, when we discard something, we can play the rest for free. Oh, I forgot to mention this card, it can go and find this reenact the crime. It's going to be tough because we don't have some of the pieces, but we'll try it anyway. This lets us draw discard. This will let us do it on, this will be turn 3, this will be turn 4, throw this down. I can discard Atraxa and cast him for only 4 mana and go get some more stuff. It's not gonna super pop off, but I mean Atraxa can just win the game by himself. It's like we're playing life game. There's Jace. I didn't really want him until later, but that's okay. Jace is always so sick. Some kind of mill or draw. Looks like they're not playing blue, which is nice, so I'm not going to get countered. They may exile my graveyard. Both green and white cards can do that. This comes into a fewer. I need something to draw and discard because I need stuff in the graveyard, and I need to find that. The one that lets me collect evidence 10 in order to cast spells. Alright, this is pretty good. Draw and discard, but I'll play this one because it's more expensive and I have to go for it. I'll just wait. And turn, I really don't even care what they're doing because I'm either going to get the combo or I'm not. I'm not going to hit it next turn, probably. Unless no, I don't have anything in my graveyard. Oh, Insidious Roots, I see. So anytime that they pull something out of the graveyard, they're going to be getting tokens. And the tokens get counters on them. Every time you do that, so they just get tons and tons and tons of plant tokens that Yep, good thing he milled himself that one. Pass to attackers. That's fine. Just activate this, draw, discard. Don't really need this. That card lets me just fetch reenact the crime, but I already have reenact the crime. I think I just go for it. I mean, I'll play Atraxa. I'm not gonna pop off all the way, but oh, there it is. Yeah, discard this. So let's see, reenact the crime. We get to play this for 4 mana. And we're both gonna mill 10 cards. I get to pull a creature out, and there's the collect evidence. Oh baby, and we get one from theirs too. Whatever is their best thing. Botanical, whatever. What is that? I don't really want this thing coming back out, so I'll just take this guy. So now I can collect evidence rather than paying mana cost. And since I just put a ton of stuff in my graveyard, there should be playing there. So I'll play Atraxa for alternate costs. I can exile 10 mana costs. So there's 4, 8, 9, 10. I get to cast this insane card for free, basically, and grab one of each type. So grab one of these, grab one of these. Surveil, sure. Alright, reenact the crime. What has gone in the graveyard this turn? Oh, all of these, that's right. So we're gonna do that. And cast. Guess what? Breach. Exile, make sure I don't exile the breach. Don't need this. 7, 11, that's fine. If we're gonna do it. Get to cast this again. Mill a billion cards. Oh, guess I'll play another Atraxa. And whatever, it doesn't matter. He's legendary, so I can only keep one. That's fine, he's gonna get some plants, but he's literally gonna have no cards. Sure, I'll keep this. I'll get this. Another Breach the Multiverse, and sure, it's fine. Alright, so we're just gonna Breach the Multiverse again. And exile, sure, Atraxa. Reenact the crime, that's 11. How many cards you got left? 14 cards. And so I'll put in Atraxa and steal another one of his cards. Sure. I'll keep this one. That's fine. He's getting all this stuff because his stuff is leaving. Doesn't matter. I don't even need these, but sure. Yeah, and then we're gonna play Jace. Just exile this and this and 2 more. Sure. Cast Jace. They've only got 14 cards. We could keep going, right? We still have this multiverse thing. Target player goes 15 cards. They only have 14. They lose. That is the most insane thing I've ever seen. That is the most overpowered, insane thing ever I've ever seen. And it's on turn 4. They literally can't do 20 damage by turn 4. If you go first, it's straight up GG. Insane. So this guy's letting us draw and like replenish our hand. This is where all the power comes from, right? Collect evidence 10, so anything in my graveyard. Look at all the stuff in my graveyard. You can just exile these mana cost things. Don't even need this. And yeah. Mill their whole deck, all 60 cards. And we could have kept going. It's insane. So that's what I've been up to lately. It's pretty crazy.